Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
Okay, all right. So Shador got his first start against the Las Vegas Raiders in a dome. And, the Las Vegas Raiders are a team that aren't really in playoff contention. And a dome is a controlled environment, right? So you can say that was pretty ideal conditions for Shador, right? Playing a team that's not really that good, and then also playing a team in an environment where there's not going to be much conditions to deal with. And I think you can make that argument. The 49ers are 8-4. Now they're in third place in their division, but they're 8-4, playing some good football as of late. And the weather conditions aren't going to be great for the Cleveland Browns in this game. We saw the snow on Thanksgiving. We saw the snow today. There are questions of if there's going to be snow on Sunday. The official report, if you look at the Burke Lakefront Airport news, is that there's going to be a bit of snow and rain at times in the morning. Otherwise, cloudy, windy, chilly, storm total snowfall 2-4 inches. So there really shouldn't be that much snow in the game. But if you're from Cleveland and you know that area in front of the lake, nothing's guaranteed. Now, it is going to be very windy, as it is at this time of the year. 22 mile per hour winds sustained, 44 mile per hour gusts. So there's going to be some elements to deal with for Shador. It's almost the exact opposite of what he had to deal with in week one, in his first start, right? Again, perfect conditions inside a dome on natural grass indoors versus a team that's struggling. And now you're playing a really good team or a solid team outside in the elements. So, we're going to be able to see Shador in two polar opposite different scenarios this week. And I think that's going to be interesting, right? Because there were questions about Shador's arm strength coming out. Now, I think Shador's arm strength questions weren't as severe as some folks have made it out to be, right? Some folks made it out to be like he was Will Howard and his arm was like a huge question mark. I never thought Shador's arm was a huge question mark. There was a question of, hey, is Shador's arm talent, as far as his ability to drive and throw the football, is it average or above average, right? There were conversations about where it sits in that specific spectrum of things. I think this week we'll get an answer on that, right? He made the tremendous throw to Isaiah Bond, but again, indoors, perfect conditions, no wind factor to really deal with. So it's not going to be tested as much as your arm talent is going to be tested with 44 mile per hour wind gusts. We saw this happen with Dylan Gabriel, ironically enough, in the Baltimore game, where Dylan Gabriel seemed heavily affected by the wind gust. So Shador will get his opportunity to step up and play in that kind of windy environment, however long it lasts. Last time it was this windy at home, it only lasted about a half a game. So we'll see how long it lasts for Shador, but it'd be an opportunity to really get some questions answered. As far as the cold goes, it seems like it's just going to be cold. It's not going to be snowing or like wet, but it's Cleveland, so it can always snow. We'll see how he deals with that and how the Browns deal with that, right? What they're going to want to counter to as far as an offensive game plan goes. But the elements should be a factor for this game, which is going to make it an interesting watch. Now, we got more to talk about to prepare for this game, including the injury report. But before I do that, got to thank my sponsor for today, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. Okay, so with all of this being said, right, the weather conditions being different, the competition being much more difficult, right, than last week's. I mean, the Raiders literally fired a coach after that game. They're in a very, very bad place. They're in a very dysfunctional place. And that's not to take away from anything that Shedeur did in his first start, but it is to ask the question, okay, well, how do your expectations differ from an environment that was more ready-made for Shedeur to have a successful outing to an environment where there's going to be things going against him, right? How does that change your expectations of what you want to see? Now, this kind of stuff, by the way, is why I always stay away from giving statistical projections and expectations. Like, I don't want to go into be like, I want to see Shedeur throw for 300 yards. That's ridiculous, right? You don't know if the conditions are going to allow for somebody to throw for 300 yards. But what I will say is that you could look for process-oriented stuff that you want Shedeur to fix, right? Thought he, in the second half of that game, really fell into drifting in the pocket, right? Stepping, getting to the top of his step. Instead of hitching up and going north-south, he's going east-west. He needs to cut that out of his game. Hitch, throw the ball. 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 Really just needs to focus on doing that. And look, he does not have to completely play within structure all the time. You're not asking him to play like Dylan Gabriel, but he needs to have some level of structure to what he's doing, or else you're not going to have very replicatable success while you're out there. So for Shedeur, I think that's the most important thing you want to see him get better at is his fundamentals, his feet, right? No drifting, or at least much less drifting this week than you saw last week. And look, he made an improvement from his first game against the Ravens to his first start against the Raiders. And you want to see him carry over that same improvement while adding to it a little as well. So less drifting. I thought he got a little bit too comfortable drifting in the second half of the game. You want to see him do that less. So that's a huge part of what you want to see with Shedeur, right? You want to see the process-oriented stuff, right? And it's not just processing. It's just, when I say process-oriented stuff, I mean things that are the baseline of success, right? It doesn't really have to do inherently with your ability to go 1 to 2 to 3, work back to your fourth man, or whatever it is. It's just like, hey, how do you set yourself up from the foundation of your fundamentals for success, right? That's more or less what I'm talking about, right? So, what are his pocket habits? Is he sliding in the pocket? Is he stepping up? I thought he did a lot more in this game, a lot better at it, but I thought there was a lot of room for improvement. Can he work within the structure a lot more often? Do you get that 10, 12 play drive where he goes 4-4, 5-5, and you score a touchdown when you needed to, right? Eventually, we're going to get to a place where it matters how he responds to the pressure of the game and, the moment and all of that. We haven't even gotten close to that yet, but these are the things that you want to see improve for him as we go forward. It's just very, very simple stuff right now for Shedeur. Make good decisions. Don't turn the ball over. And in some of the more basic progressions that they put in, I want to see him get through them a little faster, right? That's going to be something we're going to evaluate once we get the tape. But really, it's just like, hey, manage the game well. Whether you're running the ball 30 times or throwing the ball 30 times, just do a good job in managing the game well, because that's where this game is going to be won, right? For Shedeur to be successful in the NFL, He's going to have to be a better game manager as a pro than he was in college. He wasn't the best game manager in college. He's going to have to strengthen his game management skills in the pros, especially to run how the Browns want you to run that offense. And honestly, like, just given the lack of talent the Browns have on offense, to be able to win games with that offense is going to require you to be able to manage the game. So, you do that well on top of every once in a while being able to do some of the special stuff that he could do, then you have a pathway for long-term success there with Shedeur. But we got to get there first. But that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Hold on. I was about to end the video without giving y'all the injury report. So let's get to the injury report. My apologies. I kind of got into a rhythm there, but let's get to the injury report. So right now, as it speaks, again, they were practicing in snow. Jerome Ford is questionable for Sunday. Alex Wright is out again. Aiden Huntington is out, and Brendan Bates is out. So I believe Bates is like the third string tight end. So offensively, everybody but Jerome Ford and Brendan Bates is in. That's good news. The offensive line is healthy again. That's really good news. Defensively, I believe it's the same people who were out most of the game last week are out again. So no real changes there. Browns wearing a normal uniform combination, just the brown on white. So you don't have to worry about them looking like Virginia Tech this week. But now I can say that that's the video. Appreciate y'all for watching. Have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.